DeBrickashaw Ferguson and Charles Woodson were both of the inspirations for the East-West Bowl sketch for Key and Peele.
Yeah. And there really are some characters on this year's squads, aren't there, Jeff?
That's right, Dave. It does seem like the most flamboyant personalities came to the forefront.
Because, and I explained it to him, I said, you were the first person I ever saw mess with Monday night intros. Or mess with intros. He was the first person who said, they were now, ladies and gentlemen, for the Oakland Raiders defense. And they're going person by person by person. And they get to Charles. And Charles, he goes, Charles Woodson, safety. You know the school. And he said, you know the school. And I told Jordan that.
Yeah.
And then Jordan wrote the entire East-West Bowl script with all those crazy names.
Jack Marius Tack Theratrix, Michigan State University.
The Isaiah T. Billings Clyde, Coastal Carolina University.
And we're saying, let's use the framing of when they do the player introductions for Monday Night Football. And it was Charles Woodson that sparked in my mind that made me think to use that format.
You're sitting there on the couch, you're watching the Monday night game the Raiders are playing in, and all he says is, you know the school, which is so funny and so badass. Yeah, and you text Jordan right away?
It had happened years before. Happened years before. And so Jordan said to me, he said, because Jordan played a lot of Madden. Here's the funny thing. I wasn't a football fan at the time, but played a ton of Madden. Yeah. And one day we were working on the pilot of the show. And Jordan goes, Keegan, man, do you know that there is a player who plays football for the New York Jets named DeBrickashaw Ferguson? I said, oh, Jordan, buddy, that's the tip of the iceberg. Do you know what the SEC is? I'm gonna open you up to a world of names. Yeah, and that was where the original kernel of the idea came from. And then I said, and then I thought of Charles Woodson. I had watched the game where Charles did that like 2, 3, 4 years prior, and I maybe more. And I remember going, "There's a guy named Charles Woodson." I explained it to Jordan, and Jordan said, "How does the format work?" And I explained to him how they did the intro, and that's how that sketch came to me.
It's something that's still hilarious to this day. Who knew that Charles Woodson inspired it?
Yeah.
You said that Jordan wrote all the names, so you guys didn't get in a room and start bouncing around. He just started banging them out.
I was sitting in the office. He came into the office one day and handed me the script. Oh, I added one name. One name.
Do you remember?
Yes, I do. I said, oh, we have to have a white guy, and his name has to be Dan Smith or Bill Smith or John Smith. And then I said, oh, and he has to go to Brigham Young University.
Dan Smith, BYU.
But I mean, he just went, hey, Keeg, just take a look. And I was like, what did you do this? He goes, I was kind of kicking around last night. You were kind of kicking it around last night? You run Le Carpatron Duke Marriott?
Le Carpatron Duke Marriott, Florida Atlantic University.
It's like, where did you come up with these names? Jack Marius Tack Theratrix?
It's my favorite one. Shakira Kwan TGIF Carter is another one.
Shakira Kwan TGIF Carter, University of Northern Arizona.
Amazing.
That's him in his room just banging them out.
Just at his house. And because he's a wordsmith, he loves sounds and words. And that was right up his alley. And he just wrote the whole thing and brought it to me.
Oh, we got something of a shooting gallery going on.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Boy, that is something. And, wait, we got a flag there.
This thing has legs. This thing will not end. You guys did Hingle McCringleberry years ago. And this season, in 2020, NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers is doing it in the end zone. He's still doing it.
Yeah.
Tell us, give me the behind the music on that.
This was, again, a scene that I think was born from Jordan Peele's education and initial elation of learning about football. I started kind of watching football with him and teaching him about football. And he understood the rules of football. It's just, I wanted him to become a fan of the game. And he started to really become a fan of the game. And at a great time, at a time when Megatron was playing and Chris Johnson was playing and this really wonderful era. So he wrote this sketch about the three pumps. And I think he really wanted to play the referee really bad because he wanted us to have that good classic clown and straight man feel in that sketch. So he found this whole world to put around that great dynamic between the two of us. So the three pumps was because, again, in comedy, rule of threes. You have to do everything 3, 5, or 7 times. Threes. And so the 2 pumps have to be this, the pause. And then it just gave me something to protest about. Man, that was a double pump. I paused.
Yeah, absolutely. See, now the ref agrees. That's 3 pumps right there.
And then all the other guys that were out there with us that day were having a blast. And the other guys would run around Jordan like, what you doing, man? That was a double pump. He didn't even double pump, man. He did 1, pause, another 1, pause, triple 1, pause. He didn't even do 2 in a row. Come on, man. And then we'd all throw our hands up and went back to the line of scrimmage. And it was so much fun to do that one. He's so observant, Jordan. He's such an observant. I've always said about Jordan's one of those guys where if you had a vase full of roses in front of you, everybody would go, God, look at those gorgeous roses. And Jordan would go, I wonder if that vase is made in Taiwan. That's just how he thinks. It's really fantastic. So that was how that sketch came about.
I think it's fascinating that these things are coming from Jordan's entry into football because you have the knowledge guy. It's like you almost have like the Obi-Wan and the Luke, and you're the Obi-Wan, which works. It had a life of its own, that thing. And you got guys like Von Miller are doing it, Antonio Brown, years later, Aaron Rodgers. What did you think when they started doing it took off in the league?
Well, Lance Moore did it the first time when he was playing for the Saints. And I remember Jordan and I were texting. I was at home watching the game randomly. Oh, no, I think I didn't have the game on. And Jordan texted me and said, turn on the Saints game. This guy, Lance Moore, just did the pumps. I think part of it is that's one of those time and place things, right, Kyle, where they were all, for whatever reason, historically at that moment in the NFL, everybody was getting itchy. There's a little no fun league a little bit too much. And they started to, because they're young men and they're just feeling a little rebellious. And I think when they saw it, it just was like, I mean, that looks like fun. And they were also, if you're getting paid well, I mean, how much is the fine really going to put you back? So they were just going to go ahead and do it anyway. And I did. It's funny, East-West Bowl and 3 pumps. Mm-hmm. We just didn't know. It's an interesting thing about comedy. It's ephemeral. It's very ephemeral and very ethereal, and you don't have a sense of what's going to work. I try to pretend there's a science to it, but there's not really a science. I didn't think Substitute Teacher. 190 million hits?
If one of y'all says some silly ass name, this whole class is gonna feel my wrath. Now, D nice.
Do you mean Denise?
Son of a bitch!
Why? Why that sketch? And the only thing I can come up with is because that sketch has names in it, and East-West Bowl has names in it.
The names.
But there's no explanation for the 3 pump. I just don't know why. I don't know what it is. But I'm so grateful for it, especially being a maven of that sport as I am.
It's so cool. It's like making a classic
this season,
song.
Aaron did it. That's 5 years. That's like 4 or 5 years ago.
I know. And dude, I got to tell you, as a guy who lives and breathes the NFL, I think it's going to be done 10 years from now, 15 years from now. I think it's like a classic song, like where it's Don't Stop Believing. We're going to be seeing that thing for years.
For years and years.
Yeah. And it's really cool, which would make you like the Steve Perry of End Zone Celebrations.